Ever wondered if your credit score is like a living, breathing thing, constantly changing and updating? Or is it more like a snapshot in time, frozen until some magical update button is pressed? If you're like most people, you probably check your credit score periodically, maybe on a site like Credit Karma, and you've probably asked yourself, how often does this thing actually change? That's exactly what we're diving into today. We're going to demystify the credit score update process, specifically on Credit Karma, and give you a clear understanding of how often you can expect to see changes, and more importantly, what those changes mean. Now, before we jump into the specifics of Credit Karma, let's quickly recap what a credit score actually is. Think of it as a financial grade. It's a 3-digit number, typically ranging from 300 to 850, that lenders use to assess your creditworthiness. A higher score generally means you're a responsible borrower, and it can qualify you for better interest rates on loans and credit cards. A lower score, on the other hand, might make it harder to get approved for credit or result in higher interest rates. Your credit score is calculated based on information in your credit reports. These reports are maintained by the 3 major credit bureaus, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. They track your borrowing history, including things like your payment history, the amount of debt you owe, the length of your credit history, the types of credit you use, and any new credit applications. So, if you pay your bills on time, keep your credit card balances low, and avoid opening too many new accounts, your score is likely to improve over time. Conversely, missed payments, high balances, and frequent credit applications can negatively impact your score. Now, here's where things get interesting. Credit Karma doesn't actually calculate your credit score. They pull your credit reports from 2 of the 3 major bureaus, Equifax and TransUnion, and then provide you with a credit score based on that information. It's important to understand that Credit Karma is a facilitator, not the source of your credit data. They're giving you a snapshot of what Equifax and TransUnion are reporting. So, how often do these credit bureaus update their information? That's the million-dollar question, and the answer is, it varies. There's no single, universal update schedule. It's not like your credit score magically refreshes every Tuesday at noon. Instead, the process is much more dynamic. Creditors, like banks and credit card companies, report information to the credit bureaus on a regular basis. This could be monthly, quarterly, or even more frequently in some cases. When a creditor reports new information, like a payment you made or a new account you opened, the credit bureau updates your credit report. This, in turn, can affect your credit score. Now, the timing of these updates can be unpredictable. One creditor might report on the 1st of the month, while another might report on the 15th. There's no centralized schedule that everyone follows. This means your credit report and, consequently, your credit score can change at any time. Think of it like this: your credit report is a constantly evolving document. New information is being added and updated all the time. And because your credit score is based on that information, it's also subject to change. So, back to Credit Karma. How often do they update the scores they show you? Again, it depends. Credit Karma typically updates the credit reports and scores they display on a monthly basis. However, this isn't a hard and fast rule. Sometimes, updates might happen more frequently, and sometimes, they might be less frequent. It depends on when the credit bureaus update their information and how quickly Credit Karma processes those updates. One important thing to remember is that the scores you see on Credit Karma are based on the information from Equifax and TransUnion. They don't include information from Experian. This means the score you see on Credit Karma might be slightly different from the score you get from another source that pulls data from all 3 bureaus. It's also possible that your Equifax and TransUnion scores themselves might differ slightly, as creditors might report to one bureau and not the other. So, don't be surprised if you see different credit scores from different sources. It's perfectly normal. The important thing is to understand the underlying information that's driving those scores. Now, let's talk about what you can do to influence your credit score. While you can't control exactly when your score updates, you can control the factors that contribute to it. The most important thing is to practice good credit habits. This includes paying your bills on time every time, keeping your credit card balances low, and avoiding opening too many new credit accounts. If you find an error on your credit report, it's crucial to dispute it with the credit bureau as soon as possible. Errors can negatively impact your credit score, so it's important to get them corrected. You can typically dispute errors online, by mail, or by phone. Checking your credit reports regularly is also a good idea, even if you're not actively looking to borrow money. This allows you to identify any errors or signs of identity theft. You can get free copies of your credit reports from each of the 3 major credit bureaus once a year at annualcreditreport.com. So, to summarize, credit scores are dynamic and can change frequently. While Credit Karma typically updates the scores they display monthly, the actual updates happen at the credit bureau level, and their timing can vary. The best way to stay on top of your credit score is to practice good credit habits and monitor your credit reports regularly. With that said, thanks for watching, and until next time.